Dynamic, articulate, perceptive, courageous, outspoken.
Alright, so I'm back with another reaction, right? And I realized that my algorithm is starting to get messed up because I'm reacting to a little bit too much crime and stuff like that. So we're going for a change of pace. I like gaming content. This is a channel that focuses on gaming to a degree. So I want to look at the dark side of the Tekken community. Because I recently started playing more Tekken with a good friend of mine, Studio Q. If you're unfamiliar, he commented on some of my videos here and there. But I want to look at this video. I want to understand the Tekken community a little bit better. And I'm hoping that this video right here by the main man SWE will give us some insight into what it's like playing online Tekken, being on Reddit, being on the socials that centers around Tekken. Let's find out, man. Let's find out. I gotta take it back to the beginning because I watched like 20 seconds.
What's up guys, main man Sui here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always, and today I want to do a little bit of a sit down here, face to face, and talk a little bit about the state of Tekken 8, but also our precious community.
I'm glad he's talking about Tekken 8 because this is something I wanted to hear about. I wanted to click on the state of a Tekken 8 video, but I thought this would be better because I get an idea into what the Tekken community is about, the odds and ends, like the ups and downs, the degenerate players, the pro players. Like, I want to get an overview of all of this because I'm relatively new to Tekken. Like, I'm not new to fighting games at all, and I know how to play Tekken. I even got a clip on my channel with me playing some Tekken, but I want to know about the Tekken community. So let's go. Talk to me, SWE.
Those of us who love Tekken. So about 2 weeks ago, we got a disastrous patch for Tekken 8, you know, the latest Tekken game. A lot of problems, let's just say. We wanted more defense in our game. On a systematic level, they gave us that, you know, like significantly better sidesteps, and also less chip damage, a punish UI, stuff I really liked. But the developers could not help themselves, so to counteract the buff defense, they give everyone homing +4 4-meter mids that blow you up and leave no room for counterplay whatsoever.
So basically, they up the tracking. So when you use a move, like sometimes you use a move and your opponent might be off axis, like moving around you. You know what I mean? Like moving around you, degrees of separation, and your attack. Let's say your attack goes straight. But because they're moving, your attack will go straight and then curve into the opponent. Or the hitbox is so wide that it just has great tracking. I'm somebody who don't really like tracking. Because it's like, you need to be precise. You can't rely on... You need to be precise. But yeah, let's go. Let's continue.
On a Tekken Talk Live, the developers say, oh, here are the amazing new sidesteps. And 5 seconds later, oh, and here's King's homing giant swing. So
defeats the purpose.
it's a disaster, and you're like, what are you guys doing? And certainly we hope that they fix this, and the developers have deservedly so received quite a backlash from all of us, and we've said with constructive criticism, you know, please fix this. This is super bad. This game has no competitive integrity. But what has been more disturbing than this update to this video game we all like has been the downright, like, almost insane level of vitriol and just hate. It's like straight up hate I've seen online. And I almost don't recognize the Tekken community. For example, you know, on Tekken Reddit, it's like, it's absolutely fair to start a thread and making fun of like the developers, posting pictures of them and make fun of what they look like. Thousands of people making fun of their appearances, saying they have shit personalities, they're morons, like making it extremely personal. And this...
Okay. What? You mean to tell me you guys are harassing the developers because they got it so bad? I understand they got it bad because I've been watching like a little bit of the Tekken gameplay, the Tekken 8 gameplay, and I was like, wow, It looked like, because I saw a Jack 8. I saw a Jack 8 just spamming some clap move that you can't get out of, and it literally just melts your opponent. I'm like, yo, what is this? What I think happens is there's too many people involved in the development, the updates or the DLC or whatever, and it produces a conflict of interest when there's like 5 different teams working on this project to change like 2 or 3 things. So I don't know. They were supposed to quote unquote buff defense. Thank you, Mighty Keith. Thank you, Mighty Keith, for letting me understand what was going on in Tekken 8 without having to play it. You know what I mean? So we're going to continue this video. I'm hoping that I can get a little bit more information about the overarching state of Tekken right now, even though this video was posted 2 months ago.
This is okay. Like the moderators of Tekken Reddit, they don't remove this. This is fair game. I'm an old guy. I stay off social media, so maybe I'm not in touch with the internet. But to me, it's like, do we want to normalize behavior like this? Shouldn't we focus on the game and criticize the game?
Yes.
And then, FDX, who I think has been sort of a treasure for the Tekken community, an amazing YouTuber who has like gotten significant popularity with Tekken 8, and rightfully so. Like his super analytical mind, his, I just love listening to him, and he's always very level-headed in how he talks about the game. But the amount of hate I've seen go his way, and hate, I can't even understand it to 1%, to no degree, because I'm like, what exactly has he done? Or, Boogard, whom you might not know about, but also a Tekken YouTuber who's done fairly well the last year or so, makes great videos. He plays Tekken 8 online on his stream, and now he gets death threats.
Whoa.
Because he's a traitor who is playing the bad patch. Can you...
This is one thing I dislike about the gaming community. Sometimes y'all take things way too serious. These are not life and death scenarios. Why are you making death threats to people just because you don't like the game? What I say is, man, look, boot up Tekken 7. Tekken 7 is still good. I enjoy playing Tekken 7 with my friend Q, and we have a good time. I don't really play online that much because I don't think I'm good enough to rise to the higher ranks, but I know that I have the potential to do it if I want to put some time into Tekken. I can get good at the game. Maybe I should start going to locals or something, but I know that right now I'm not ready. I'm only a master Raven main, and I haven't mastered the character yet. I'm just somewhat kind of good with the combo strings that I have, but I haven't mastered the character, and I definitely have not mastered the game because there's so many intricate details in the game, like parries and like power crushes and stuff, that I still haven't mastered. But I do want to continue listening to this guy to see what else I can learn about the Tekken community. Y'all need to calm down, Tekken players. Y'all really need to get off Reddit. Y'all need to get off social media and touch some grass. That Tekken 8 looked like it's just in a state of chaos.
Understand any of this? And and the accusations even coming from like pretty prominent Tekken streamers and YouTubers about FDX being a shill, that he's a corrupt, malicious person who is paid by the big corporation, Bandai Namco, to lie about Tekken and to always be positive. He sold himself. FDX has no integrity. He's on the payroll and he lies. And prominent community members are spreading these ideas, and I see them everywhere. And it's, I don't know, maybe I'm out of touch, but I find it deeply disturbing, personally. And I just want to show you, I want to go to Twitter here. And the reason I'm making this video is, to be honest, due to some tweets that I've seen FDX post. Like, for example, here, FDX says, should I be worried about being prepared at any fighting game events I go to? And you're like, what? And here someone has posted to FDX, I would have never fought. Frame may have forgiven you, but I hope you know there's a part of a community that will never, so long as you don't formally apologize and take accountability.
Wait a second, man. What did this guy do? What did he do? Let me.
For what you've contributed to. Until you do, you better be prepared at any fighting game events you go to. This
Threats.
person is insinuating that if PDX goes to any fighting game events, he has to take a second to look behind his back and shoulders at all times because, it's according to this guy, it's perfectly understandable that someone might attack him, physically attack him.
Assault.
And why? What has FDX done? He makes YouTube content about a video game. What I'm wondering is like, can you imagine some of FDX's relatives hearing about this?
What I want to say is now that I'm trying to become a full-time content creator, I'm wondering, is this what I'm going to have to deal with if I want to get into the fighting game tournament scene? Am I going to have to deal with people who are going to be wanting to threaten my life and start fights and fisticuffs with me just because I didn't do what they wanted me to do, or I didn't represent them in the way they want someone they don't know to represent them? I don't know, man. It seems like you gotta sell your soul these days, and you're selling your souls to the community that you build. I don't want a community like that. I need rational people on my channel. I'm not trying to have no man. Let's continue.
Mom and dad or siblings or friends, or I don't know a whole lot about FDX, but I know he has a girlfriend. Can you imagine them hearing about stuff like this? Oh, our FDX is being threatened. Why? Because he's made content about a video game he likes, and according to some lunatics, he has been too positive about the game.
All right. I know that he said lunatics, but when we dealing with debates and discussions, let's try to get away from name calling. Let's try to get away from name calling and just use their argument as a way to discredit what they're saying. I'm somebody who I don't really like the name calling aspect. Unless you're talking into the air, the straw man, somebody who did something that you can't name, like nobody in specific. You know what I mean? Like that when people do this or people do that, this type of behavior, blah blah blah. Like let's not stoop to name calling.
There's been a lot of stuff like this everywhere, and it, of course, does not stop here. He also, for example, higher up here.
He didn't even read the whole thing. I want to read the whole thing. Oh my God, bro. All right, let me read it. I would have never... let me blow this up. All right, so the guy, Tane Ed Reaper to FiDX, I would have never thought. Frame may have forgiven you, but I hope you know there's a part of the community that will never, so long as you don't formally apologize and take accountability for what you contributed to. Until you do, you better be prepared at any FGC events you go to. This is a game that has many diehard fans who are passionate and to obsessive levels. That's already not good. Stronger the love and passion, the stronger the potential hate. And while ultimately the devs were one that pulled the trigger in the most diabolical way to ruin a series that spanned 30 years due to incompetence, it was the enablism by a few key figures that allowed this rot to fester more easily. Could have stayed at least more neutral like Mr. Playstuff or Mirio instead of actively running cover like TMM. Either way, this is the end of Tekken for many legacy players. They won't be returning. I'll personally be touching grass for a while, then move on. I had aspirations for this game, but it's a ditch now. It's in a ditch now. The trust and goodwill is gone. Those who remain or return, you have to answer to them. Okay? Because as much as I can sympathize and even understand why you did what you did with good intentions, I know I won't ever forgive you for the role you played. I love this game. It's over now. Well, he didn't really explain what the guy did. He just said, he's basically saying, you know what you did, and I'm not going to expose you to anybody else who might be curious unless they ask me personally. This looks like this was on Twitter or X or whatever. I don't go in there, so I would never see that. So I don't like that he didn't read it. He didn't give us a full context outside of him defending the guy, but I like to remain neutral. I want to know what happened. What happened? What did the guy do? Is it just that he sided with the developers or something like that? If he sided with the developers, then okay, whatever. Like, you shouldn't hate the guy because of it. He wants to give the developers a chance to redeem themselves, even if it's not going to be right away. He's like, I still have faith in them. Like, man, that's that man's personal belief or personal opinion or his own choice of what he wants to do. Why? If you didn't hurt anybody, if you didn't cause financial harm to people, like, I don't know why people on the internet are so weak-willed that they have to resort to violent threats, and they think that that's going to make a difference. Man, you're only going to make it worse for yourself, your community, because I'm on the outside looking in and I'm like, I'm just going to play Tekken casually. I am not getting it. What if this is how you guys act? I don't want to be a part of that community. I play Smash Bros. And there's too much controversy in the Smash Bros. Community for me to actually really want to be a face of Smash Bros. Like, it's just the gamers, y'all have done way too much damage. Like, y'all really be ruining stuff because y'all put y'all emotions in this stuff. And emotional men are not good. Emotional men are weak men. So if you gonna get emotional, like overly emotional, I'm not gonna say emotional, I'm saying overly emotional. If you can get overly emotional to the point where you're making death threats and threatening to harm somebody, like, bro, you gonna end up in jail. Just keep, that's criminal. You're gonna end up in jail, and you're gonna have a jail boyfriend because you acting like a straight bitch.
Not stop here. He also, for example, higher up here, the Tekken fan base is tearing itself apart, and
This shield deserves all the threats. So he did shield. So he sided with the developers, and now everybody hates him, and it's like KYS and stuff like that. Okay, okay. So he sided. So I was correct. He sided with the developers, and everybody just hates him now. Okay, I need a moment to process this. Give me a second. All right, let's continue. I took me a nice little break away from this. Let's come back to the dark side of tech community. I was gone for at least like half an hour.
it's hard for me not to blame the content platforms built around negativity, hate, conjecture, and rumors. If you're wondering why I focus on positive content, it's because this is what happens if you don't. All this for making guides, match analysis, and news updates. So now he's responding to this thing. This shill deserves all the threats that he's getting. I was upset with your takes, VDX, because of the influence it had when we were at a tipping point in the game's development, but Tekken 8 is dead to me. I'm a Virtua Fighter player now, and so are a majority of the legacy players in my scene. Breakups over, reap what you sow. You'll get what you fucking deserve.
Man, the vitriol is serious. Yo, they is not playing. Yo, they ready to go to war about Tekken 8. They are ready to go to war about Tekken 8.
Okay, so here we have
And remember, this was 2 months ago.
The Joker as well. Does absolutely not sound like a fucking lunatic, psychopath. You ruined this game, and you doubling down only makes it worse. I'm just wondering here, like, in the minds of these people, what power does VDX wield? If we just take a second and look at this, like, objectively with some common sense, level-headed, is VDX a developer? Does VDX have gigantic influence on what this huge corporation does with their game? VDX is a streamer and...
See, you just proven a point. They said he was shilling. He's not a developer, but he's supporting the developers. When the developers made a crucial mistake in the design of the next patch. It's more or less, I think I'm starting to understand. The anger is misplaced. Yes, the anger is misplaced, but I understand the sentiment of supporting the developers when they made the completely wrong decision. You can't when they mess up the game, you can't give them any love. Everybody has to be unanimous in their approach, because one thing I notice about game developers, they look at the comments and all, like the way people are reacting to it, but if it's not unanimous, they don't take it serious. If it's not unanimous, if everybody has to be saying it for them to take it serious and to make a change. So when you got a community split like this, I can understand why they're upset, but the anger is misplaced. It is not warranted to want to kill this guy or give him violent death threats because he decided to side with the developers. Okay, I'm starting to see it now.
YouTuber. I'm pretty sure he's not responsible for season 2 of Tekken 8, but that's just my gut feeling, right? But also, like, these accusations of, like, his toxic positivity and shilling. Like, I'm not gonna get into this whole, like, he's being paid to lie about the game, because that's just, to me, like an absurd conspiracy theory that can only come from people who are mentally unwell, in my opinion.
Okay.
People who they live their lives online, they're very isolated from main society, they have high degrees of general anxiety.
I can agree with that statement, because when you're terminally online, you lose touch with the real world and how social etiquette and social interaction is really supposed to go this day and age. That's what's going on. There are too many people that are living their lives online through a screen. You don't have any filters when you're talking online because of anonymity. So you talking about going to a fighting game event and you got to watch your back. Man, 9 times out of 10, ain't nobody going to do nothing. They might say something or tell everybody at the venue, oh, that's the guy. Yeah, hate him, hate him. But 9 times out of 10, people like that who are always, they ain't going to do nothing. They don't know how to do nothing. They never did anything. Everything they ever did is online. You can't be worried about people like that.
They're in a very bad mental headspace, and this can lead to...
Really, you're supposed to just ignore that stuff. I know it's probably an overwhelming amount of it coming in, but in social media, it seems like the best thing to do is just ignore stuff that don't serve you. Ignore what doesn't serve you. I think that's the way to go.
Paranoia and a distrust of everything, and reactions like this. We're also very vulnerable to hate campaigns and conspiracy theories. The way I've always seen FDX's content, and I've watched some,
I want to
is
read the rest of the
theories.
guy's statement. I don't know why he won't read it all. Okay, so he said, you'll get what you fucking deserve. You ruined this game, and you doubling down only makes it worse. If you don't even know what you're apologizing for, then keep that damn apology. That apology don't mean jack shit. If you don't want to apologize, don't. Stop still trying to get on higher ground by saying, I don't know what I should be apologizing for. You know damn well what. For shilling. They want him to apologize for supporting the developers or siding with the developers. The community is split and they go into war about... See, this is what I don't get. If y'all moved on to the next game, then why are y'all worried about people who are still playing Tekken 8? Y'all moved on. Y'all moved on. It's dead to you. If it's dead to you, move on. Contradictions, hypocrisy.
We're also very vulnerable to hate campaigns and conspiracy theories. The way I've always seen FDX's content, and I've watched some, is that I've never seen this like toxic positivity. All I've seen is, a long time ago, he made a video where he said that heat can get very overwhelming in Tekken 8. So, in my opinion, I'm FDX. I think that Lee's heat, who we all know is very weak, it's not very potent, that should serve as the blueprint and role model for the other heats in the game. So all these characters who have super overwhelming heat, like Kuma and Kazuya, for example, Xiaoyu, maybe they should come down to resemble more what Lee does in heat. Isn't that a perfectly fair statement? Extremely level-headed and sort of something we can all agree with. But how is that shilling or like toxic positivity? And in fact, with season 2, when the developers say, oh, all of those lows now that used to be heat smashes, they are normal heat moves now. So you get more 50-50 mix-ups. Isn't that the complete opposite of what VDX asked for? So even in your wild imagination, which is very poisonous, how is VDX responsible for what has happened? The way people talk about VDX, I don't even recognize the person we're talking about, because I feel like he's always been level-headed in his criticism. But it seems to me like people hate him because he has enjoyed Tekken 8. As have I. I've enjoyed Tekken 8, but I always had my issues with the game, right? But I feel like with these people, it's like, if you've ever enjoyed it to a certain extent, you're a shill and I hate you. To me, it's like, for those of you who have this opinion, it's like you kind of sort of have to turn the mirror onto yourself and go, why does a video game make me react this way? And if someone is enjoying a video game, why do I have such vitriol toward?
I think I understand. It's because all they have is Tekken 8. All they have is Tekken. They don't have anything else going on in their lives. So all of the vitriol, all the anger, all the hate, all the rage is because that is all that they have. They don't have anything else going on in their lives other than Tekken 8 and the Tekken 8 community or Tekken community. So maybe that's why, that's because it's all they have. It's the only thing that they probably value in this world. So to answer your question, Swee, Tekken 8, Tekken period is all they have. They have nothing else.
Towards them. Why am I reacting this way due to an update in a video game? Or if someone likes this video game, why do I hate them? And again, say someone absolutely loves Tekken 8, and even Season 2, they absolutely love it, and they have nothing bad to say about it. What's wrong with that? Are you not allowed to have that opinion? Yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. I find it pretty disturbing, like the levels of accusations I've seen thrown everywhere, and just how people are willing to talk about each other in online discourse. So I'm just going to wrap up this video by saying that VDX has nothing to be ashamed of. It's quite the contrary. He's created an incredible YouTube channel that has brought a ton of people into the game we love. He's done our community a huge service. He's made some of the best educational content I've ever seen on any video game. He's given us some of the most level-headed criticism of Tekken, like what a great analytical mind. Yeah, sorry for the gigantic amounts of glazing, as you kids say, but that's just how I see it. He has just enriched this community, and we would be, and sorry, I don't want to sound corny, but we would be a lesser community without him. But so that's why it's so disheartening to see all of this pitchfork mob going after him. I just don't even understand what they're going after. But again, I think a conversation has to be had regarding how we, and it is being had, I'm not naive, but like, how do we online discourse, how do we talk online, etc., social media, toxic fanboy culture, yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about this because it's been disturbing, and it is a minority in the community. There are amazing people in this Tekken community. I've met so many of them. It's just that there is a decent enough chunk that is very vocal, and what I hope personally is that we don't normalize this kind of behavior, because to be honest, the last 2 weeks I've seen just way too much of it online and on streams. I hope we don't normalize this type of behavior, because it's extremely destructive, and it is a cancer, and this is how communities die. But it, of course, also, like, gaming communities can also die due to games turning into garbage, and as I said at the start of this video, very deserved backlash on the developers.
Yeah.
Right, and we want to give them constructive criticism. But there's a difference between constructive criticism and just hate. I just wanted to touch upon this a bit here in a video, and I just feel like we could all do better, and being a Tekken player for 30 years, I absolutely hope that they they fix this because there's no game like Tekken. You know, I'm playing, you know, the patch is kind of bad, but I keep playing Tekken. I still really enjoy it. And I really like Street Fighter 6 as well, which I'm playing now. But even playing Street Fighter, I'm just like, there's no game like Tekken. And even as bad as the Season 2 patch is, there's nothing like Tekken out there. You know, it's...
I would have to disagree with you, sir. There's a game called Toe Ball from the 90s. It's a lot like Tekken. It's like Tekken, Smash Bros, and a little bit of Dragon Ball Z. It was made by Akira Toriyama. Rest in peace. It was made by Akira Toriyama. Yep. Toe Ball. Toe Ball 1 and Toe Ball 2. Yep. If you think there's not a game out there like Tekken, I urge you to check out Toe Ball. Toe Ball 2. Definitely Toe Ball 2.
Yeah, Tag 2 didn't make me quit Tekken. Season 2 of Tekken 8 is certainly not going to make me quit Tekken. I survived Tag 2. But that's also a double-edged sword, you know, when you say there's nothing like Tekken out there. Street Fighter can't replace Tekken for me. No other game can replace Tekken. It's so unique. But that's also why it's worth protecting, because there is no game like Tekken. So that's why we hope the developers don't keep over-buffing everyone and remove all defensive nuance Tekken has. Because that's the name of the game in Tekken. When someone attacks you, you have multiple options in dealing with it. There's nuance to the counterplay. Yeah, so this was a little bit of a talk here. I just felt I needed to make a video on the topic. But again, I hope you all have a great day. And I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you. This was rather informative. I got a better idea of what's going on in the Tekken community and why there's so much vitriol. Because the developers messed up. That's a fact. The developers messed up with the game, and the majority of the community was upset about it, but some people decided to side with the developers, and that in turn created more vitriol and more hate, because it's like, why are you siding with them? You're supposed to be on our side. But I can't make this into a life and death situation. I don't think it's that serious, because as soon as Tekken 9 comes out, we're going to forget all about this, if there is going to be a Tekken 9. But I'm just saying, there might be a new Tekken tag tournament or something. You know what I mean? They might go that route. But that being said, Professor Hawk signing out. Hawk Sensei bids you adieu. I hope you enjoyed this reaction, guys. Toodaloo.